What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is the Real House. Oh, no, it's not. This is Love and Marriage Huntsville, season 5, episode 6. So this episode was basically recapping the fight. Everybody kind of having their own conversation about what happened. So we start off with Tiffany going down to Madani to check in with um, Destiny and get her side of the story. And at this point, Destiny is still upset. Destiny still believes that Melody came and did not speak to her. She's still upset with the fact that Stormy and Melody came uninvited. And so her version of the story is very skewed. She basically put everything on Mel. She made it all about what Mel did. Mel. And, listen, like I told y'all before, I think there's enough blame to go around the whole Marbury Bush as far as that's concerned. Tiffany, Tiffany was like, what? Oh my goodness, that happened? And I'm like, girl, you saw the same videos that we saw. You saw the same YouTube that we saw. I mean, not YouTube, but all the clips and Instagrams. Girl, you saw the same stuff we saw. You know exactly what happened, child. Stop playing. Then we had the Scotts. We saw Letitia show up over Maurice and Kimmy's house by herself, and she's talking to Maurice and Kimmy, and she's telling them, listen, Marceau and I got into a huge argument. He was talking to me crazy, and I'm really not appreciative of it. And she was like, Maurice, can you please talk to your brother, because I'm really getting sick of the way he talked to me. And and my thing is, girl, you've been married for 15 years to this man. I don't know, it just sounded real little girl. Can you talk to him for me? No, girl, listen, if either you make it, because you can't, somebody else can't make him respect you. Only you can make him respect you. So if he's talking to you crazy and he's talking to you in a way in which you're not okay with, then what you need to do is set that boundary and be and keep it there. I don't care how long y'all been married, how long y'all been dating. You have to do that. So Marceau ends up showing up, and of course he walks in there like ain't nothing going on. And he says that him and Martell had a conversation, and they were able to squash it because they understand basically that women will put them in a bad position. And what Marceau's point is when I ask you to do something, I need you to do it, because at the end of the day, when things go down like what happened, now you put me in a position where I got to protect you and your mama, even though I think your mama wrong, but I got to protect you and your mama. And Martell is now being put in a position where he has to protect Melody and Melody's mama because she was there, and which resulted in us almost getting into an altercation. So Kimmy and Letitia go inside, and Kimmy breaks it down for Letitia in a way in which hopefully Letitia heard it. And I do understand to a certain extent what Marceau is saying when he says, you put us in a position where we have to basically protect you. But I honestly in that situation, and I know we saw an edited version, but I honestly don't know what you, Letitia, or Martell honestly really could have done differently. The wild hair in that situation was Wanda. Even when they had everybody separated and Wanda went around and ran around, to get, and she really tried to put her paws on Melody. And so ultimately it comes down to your mama. So they all go back outside, and Letitia says that she no longer wants to do business with Marceau because he's a wild card and she's just not comfortable with it. And Marceau tries to talk to her about her mama, but y'all know she ain't trying to hear that. She's not trying to hear that. But ultimately, girl, you gonna have to do something about your mama. Anyway. So then we see Martell go to visit Melody, and again, they're recapping the fight, talking about what happened, how it got out of control, the fact that it's all comes down to Miss Wanda. Melody said that she has no interest in being anywhere near Miss Wanda. She don't want her in her space in any way, shape, or form. Martell says, I want to get everybody back together to talk. Not the comeback group, but the original members of the comeback group, because we at least need to figure out a way that we can become cordial again. And ultimately, Martell says, well, I'm going to have a dinner. We're going to go back to the original place where we had our first meeting, and we're going to talk about what we need to do to at least get back to a place where we are at least cordial to each other. Now, ultimately, they basically want to tell Tisha she got to get rid of her mama. that she just has to stop inviting her mama. Her mama just cannot be around. That's really what this meeting is about. This meeting ain't about the comeback group. Nah, the meeting is about an intervention on Tisha's mama, honestly. Martell goes to visit Chris, his realtor. Honestly, I don't really see what it was just basically, again, they recapping the fight. And Martell is just letting Chris know that he got to find him a spot. He let Chris know that Melody invited him to Destin. And Chris was like, oh, so does that mean that there may be some reconciliation? Oh, man. I mean, you never know. You never know. But basically, the place that Martell is renting, the owners are getting ready to sell it. So Martell got to find a new house, child. Tiffany went to go visit Destiny. It was cute. Destiny dog got off the leash. Then they was feeding her miniature horse because, she got a whole ranch. She got a whole estate, child. But it starts raining and they got to run inside. And again, they are recapping the fight. Tiffany's like, listen, I done already talked to Destiny, but when it comes to stuff like this, there are 3 versions to every story. My side, your side, and then, the truth. So Stormy puts the conversation kind of all back on, Miss Wanda, which I ain't mad at her for that because I put it back on Miss Wanda too, child. She says that she does want to have more children because at one point she wasn't sure that she wants to have more children, but she absolutely wants to have more children. And that was pretty much that. They had a good conversation though. She said that she wants to really, get to a good place with everybody, with her, with Destiny. She really is interested in building the relationship with all of the ladies, So Destiny meets up with Stormy and Destiny says, listen, I know me, and I know when I get to that point, I know that my mouth is lethal, and a lot of times it's best for me just to be quiet rather than to speak, and that's why I don't say nothing. And she once again repeated the fact that Melody didn't speak to her, and, she was upset about that. And so Stormy is like, listen, I really want us to work together. And Stormy explained about the whole distribution deal and why she kind of was not very receptive to Destiny, when Destiny reached out, I guess, to try to get the products in her store. She said, listen, I'm trying to get into retail stores. I'm in the middle of trying to make that deal happen. I'm dealing with I'm dealing with some new people who were like, listen, we can't, basically, your store ain't big enough for what we trying to do, and I can't deal with you right now because the people I'm working with said, like, we can't work with you right now. We gotta deal with this over here before we deal with that over there, right? Because Destiny was like, I appreciate the purse, but I'd rather your products in my store than a Gucci bag. Like that, like a Gucci bag don't give me longevity. Your products in my store is going to put money in my bank, But I feel like Destiny heard her but didn't receive it, right? She heard what she said, but she was like, well, it don't matter now. So then Stormy says that she wants to try to bring everybody together and clear things up. She said, I know that, we have a mutual friend, Melody. As Destiny was like, I don't know if I would say we have a mutual friend. You and Melody are friends. I know her. But we ain't friends. We ain't good. We ain't Gucci. And she said, the definition of insanity is to continue to, we keep trying to do this and it ain't working. Like, bringing us together is not working. So that's just ain't the answer. Like that just ain't meant to be. We ain't meant to be, and I'm basically I'm exhausted with trying, right? So on the final scene of the episode, we have a cameo by Mr. Funky Neva, aka Quentin, or Quentin, aka Funky Neva, however you want to look at it. And he's gone down to Black. He's hanging out with Marceau and Tisha, and they're having a good conversation. Because if you follow him, he was in Huntsville, and he went and he met all the people down to the Huntsville. And I wasn't surprised to see that he had filmed the scene. But basically, this scene was about the fight again, and he was basically like, Tisha, what you gonna do about your mama? Because at the end of the day, this comes down to your mama and her behavior, and you cannot keep letting her come around and cause this kind of damage and wreak havoc. Like, he pretty much had what happened at the fight, and they had to kind of clarify a few things, but ultimately he said this comes down to your mom. And at what point do you have to put boundaries? She was like, but she's my mom. Like, what do I do? She said, I do talk to her and I deal with her, but I just don't, she gets upset because she feels like I don't deal with things the way she wants me to deal with things. And so she gets upset about that. And he was like, yeah, but at the end of the day, if she's causing problems in your relationships, in your marriage, you've got to cut the ties. And she was like, well, what happens if she won't do it? He said, then she can't come around, Tisha. If she won't respect your wishes and won't respect the boundaries that you're putting in place, then she can't come around. And of course, and Marcel was like, don't you dare agree with him, because that's what I've been telling you for years. So don't you sit here and agree with him. So I don't know, child. We'll see. But that was pretty much the episode. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.